making a buck off of me, but making me a buck. And you don't pay any fee.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn on Tuesday, September 17th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Don't miss Borgata's $1.5 million Summer Showdown. Now through August 31st, 1,500 winners will earn a share of $1.5 million. Plus, 2 lucky players will win a 2024 Ford Bronco or Jeep Rubicon. Earn entries for drawings held every Saturday, including 2 grand prize drawings on July 27th and August 31st. The $1.5 million Summer Showdown, only at Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa. Must be 21 or older. Players must be present to win. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you're looking to furnish your home or replace your old furniture, your journey begins and ends at Bucks County Estate Traders. One piece of advice, make sure you have time when you come here. The 58,000 square foot showroom is a furniture wonderland. Quality high-end pieces with inventory changing daily. It's all here. Mid-century modern, traditional, vintage, antique, and name brands. They'll ship anywhere, or you can pick up in-store. Bucks County Estate Traders in Hatfield or at buckscountyestatetraders.com.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Good morning. Are you feeling good? Thanks again. It's Sean Farish. What an awesome guy, good guy, and just an honor for me to work with him. I promise you, someday we all here, and I know you too, we're going to say, remember when he started filling in? Remember when we worked with him? And he's going to have his own on whatever, the new Trump Network, Fox, whatever show it is, Saturday Night Live when they take over, and it'll be like, featuring Sean Farish. We're like, yeah, we worked with him. Very cool. I love him. He's so talented. So what a pleasure, and he makes the time fly by. Let's go through it. We have so much happening, and we will look at the map, zooming in, zooming out. You'll hear lots of audio. I want to get some more audio than usual because so much was fast breaking yesterday. And I loved how J.D. Vance, as well as the Trump campaign, their attitude of, hey, you know what? We are able to speak for ourselves as an independent thinker. And isn't that weird that that's now a campaign qualification that we have to talk about? Because you have individuals, and kind of tragically, we see Joe Biden clearly having some senior moments. And so for his own, I think, reasons, did not do well in the debate and declining mental health or declining health in general. But on the other hand, you have Kamala Harris dodging, and even her new Veep, runner, whatever you call him, partner, whatever Buddy. She calls him Buddy. That's my dog's name. Don't call me Buddy, but she calls him her Buddy. But you see them just dodging and ducking and running from the media, and Trump not so much. So we're going to get to all of it. And what I think Virginia means with the paper ballots, I think that's significant. That Glenn Youngkin is doing this. I wish across the nation, why not just reassure the American people? Why not just lock it in and say, you know what, we're going to do the paper ballots, and we'll even use in some areas you can use recycled paper. All right, and do a program where we just say, let's give everybody a receipt and do the paper ballots, make it right, make sure that nobody can question the integrity of the upcoming election. Why not do that? So we'll talk about that as well. I'm so glad you're here. I'll tell you what I went through last night. I'm not going to say it right now, but let's start, if we can, Henry Mashit. Mashing it good. We have to come up with a mash it. We have to come up with a good nickname for you,
You
Henry.
got to say it right, though.
Mash it.
Machette.
Machette. Machette.
Machete, you know.
And not machete. See, I like the machete,
That's what it used to be.
but I kind of like the mash it. Machete, mash it.
Depends. I mean, I've been called both ways my whole life.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Happens all the time.
Like my married name is Menti. So you can only met mental, mente.
Yeah.
Rhymes with vente.
Mente.
But I was trying to make a play on machette, or it looks French, but it's not.
I'm not
Mache.
French at all.
So, we have to think of. I remember the first time one of the first times you were on the air, and Zioli was trying to come up with, the name. Zioli loves you,
Oh, yeah.
which is why we know we won't get you in the mornings, because Zioli, you know what I mean? Like he's the ultimate lie. He's like, I want him. I gotta have the machete
Needs me in the
in the
Zioli
afternoon.
army.
Yeah, right. But we love Henry. We love Jimmy Kelly, who's here in the house, and Jimmy went to one of these great Hope for PA events and brought me back a lovely T-shirt, which I really appreciate. But let's get to this, if we can, this newly released video. And this is the latest one, Butler, Pennsylvania. And yes, in part, I'm leading with it because I want you to think about the fact that we had, by a quarter of an inch, by a hair of his chinny chin, or maybe a hair of his ear, Trump was almost murdered not even a month ago. You think about that. I mean, that, just let that settle in, that somebody wanted to murder him, and it was way too easy to get a shot off by an unknown kid. And I know that they're still investigating, but not releasing much. So can we go through this, Henry? If we can. Listen in now. This is the new body cam.
To narrate a little bit, this is the officer frantically loading his weapon.
Gate's closed, bro. Dude, he turned around on me. He's straight up.
Okay, we have 2 civilians attending to him.
I don't know. Who's got eyes on him?
Back up.
This is new body camera video, and I apologize, it's visual, and if you're watching on YouTube, you get a better sense. Just pause it for 1 second. Because it's newly released for us, Butler Township, on the day, on July 13th, that this wannabe, we don't know, was he somehow activated? Was he somehow indoctrinated into some group? We heard about all of these. We heard word that he had some encrypted accounts or bank accounts. What's up with that? But this was a wannabe assassin, got shots off, quite frankly, murdered one man, tried to murder Trump, took a chunk of his ear off in the process. But this is the moment that the police encounter the shooter, and this is before, obviously, the shooter then opens fire on the Pennsylvania crowd of thousands, including a police officer saying that what you're going to hear in there is that he's saying he warned Secret Service about the suspect. And so the Butler Township officer, in one of the videos that we see, being hoisted onto the roof of the building right near the rally there, and we've talked a lot about that rooftop and all of it. This is minutes before Trump is even supposed to speak. This is going on. Trump isn't even speaking yet when one of the videos shows that one officer is hoisting the other one up onto the roof. And I believe that the reason they did that was because all of the Trump supporters were going, officer, remember I played that audio for you? And they're, officer, there's a guy, look. And then that's when the at least 2 of the officers go over to investigate. And so to me, I know that some people in the national media have poked fun of these local officers and local law enforcement. These are not Secret Service. These are not federal people. They are Pennsylvania or local county. And it strikes me, even by the audio, if you're not able to watch on YouTube, here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, but there's no question that this officer is investigating and moving and he's a young guy. He's moving at the fastest, most urgent possible speed as he's readying everything, readying his weapon, etc. And there's no question that this officer is highly concerned that there is an imminent danger, right? And that this is the highly dangerous, imminent situation, and that this is urgent. And you can, even if you can't see it, and that's why the breath, he's a young guy, and he's moving. He's doing everything all at once, and you can hear by even the excitement, if you will, in his voice. His adrenaline is just through the roof as he knows this is urgent. And here's this young person. I want you to think about a $3 billion a year agency and all the tax dollars that we pump into the Secret Service, what we pay for the highest level of elite training and equipment and everything. But here's this, basically, I'm going to say it, this kid and these young guys. And I think to myself, thank God for them, because I will believe until you can disprove it to me. I believe the will of God was within these young men. I believe that the will of the people saved the life of Donald J. Trump and tragically was not able to stop this wannabe killer and stop the evil and stop the murder of Mr. Corey Comparator. But I believe due to the will of the people, this wannabe scum, this weak individual, this person clearly with mental health issues too, who was maybe activated by somebody because of his mental health weaknesses and so on. But I believe that that evil was thwarted that day thanks to the goodwill, if you will, of these officers. So you see them, and you see the officer peeks his head over the roof, quickly drops to the ground, runs to the nearby police vehicle, and this is all captured on the video. The shooter, you can't see the shooter necessarily from that angle. But if you think about what happened here and the fact that they so-called rushed the shot of the shooter and did that knock off his shot, for example. But continue on, and I just want to make sure this was the video that aired on, I think, locally, because the officer does say the F word. And he says, "Effing this close, dude." He turned right around on me. I mean, he's excited. He's adrenaline filled. So can we continue on, Henry? Machete.
I need an ambulance for the back where the hearing.
Get them out of here! Get them out! Yo, Blasco! Yo, you about to hop up. He's laying down. He's on our next building over. Right after the gap. He's got glasses, long hair. Need a ladder. So get a hole. Yo, Mike, I climbed the wall and I popped my head right in front of him, bro. He's got a book bag, he's got mag, AR laying down. Yeah, he's laying down, prone out, book bag next to him. Give me a hard line. Most sections over here. Straight up section over here. That's why I got Colin up there. But watch out, because he can come right down on you over there. Oh, this is going to drop. Hold. Keep eyes on. Give me a ladder. Go! Eyes up! top of this building, the left one. I jumped up.
Over by the yellow crane. This is a very serious.
That side, the first
very
one.
serious.
That one, laying down. There's a gap in between you and there.
Hey, can you get an ambulance to the VIP tent?
Yeah.
We have a unit on the roof.
Affirmative. Yo, Chesky, go up me up once, bro. Yo, Chesky, go up me up once. Get me up again. Ready? Ready? Yep.
Ready? Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Hoisting him up. So what is significant to me out of this as well, and by the way, the Secret Service, releases a buttoned up statement of, we appreciate the support, and we will review the video and all of that. But to me, these guys calling out at these different moments, and so supposedly that officer came face to face with the shooter, with the shooter who was later, shot dead by a sniper, by the Secret Service sniper. But the officer hits the ground, and that was according to the Butler Township manager who I told you about. But, they're saying, they're talking about the fact that they knocked him off of his game in essence, because he turns around. Guy turns around, points his firearm at him, and then at some point he does turn and he gets off. So there were 8 shots. I believe that he would have pulled the trigger 4 times because he had some sort of a bump stock like device on there that, you know what I mean, that makes it for every once you pull 2 bullets released or whatever. So I think there were, I believe, 8 bullets, but pulling the trigger 4 times technically. But you think about this. He's 148 yards from Trump and on the outside, but still inside the safety perimeter by the Secret Service. To me, these men are not the focus of the investigation and should never be allowed to be thrown under the bus or blamed for this, because they're doing their job and they're risking their lives and they are hustling. And you know that. You know that when you see this, you know it when you hear it, and you hear within them, even one of the officers, he's angry and he's saying, right over here, go right over here. You hear within this audio and the video that they're angry. They're angry about the radio frequency issue. They're angry because they were giving people a heads up. They're frustrated. They're mad that this was even allowed to happen. And they're working together to try to say, get right over here. You get in place. So, to me, this is highly significant. I thank you for bearing with it if you're listening. But I wanted you to get a sense of this. And then the Secret Service saying, we appreciate our local law enforcement partners who acted courageously. I'm glad they used the word courageously, because clearly they risked their lives and they knocked this scumbag wannabe assassin. They knocked him off of his game and off kilter, rushed the shot. And so thank God, because if Trump hadn't turned in that second that this was all going on, we know what could have happened. So 855-839-1210. We are still under a tornado watch issued across the entire region, not just Philadelphia, but most of Pennsylvania, South Jersey, Delaware, even into Maryland. And that's not all. Other weather watches and warnings extended throughout the region throughout the day. So be safe if you're headed out. Don't be fooled that the skies have brightened a little bit, because it's still coming, these very severe storms. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano with a big update on our huge Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr. We had to move the date to Thursday, September 12th. We'll talk the election, all things Trump, 2 days after the next scheduled presidential debate. Think about that. Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr., now September 12th, Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood. All the ticket details and everything else at 1210WPHT.com. Be there September 12th. Hi, this is Dom Giordano. You know, now's the time to get Rescue Natural Supplements during their annual Customer Appreciation Sale. Rescue is celebrating you. Save 50% when you mix and match any 5 products or more with the code VIP50. Plus, you'll receive free shipping. Try the popular Rescue 1250 Omega-3 for heart health, Rescue Probiotic for better digestion, or Rescue Oracine for more energy. Again, mix and match any 5 or more single bottles and enjoy 50% off plus free shipping. To place an order, visit res-q.com or call 800-26-ALIVE. Again, that's 800-262-5483. Speak with a knowledgeable Rescue product consultant. And if you're new to Rescue, be sure to create your own account to earn more exclusive savings. Again, use that code VIP50 to receive 50% off and free shipping when you mix and match 5 or more Rescue Natural Supplements. That's code VIP50 at res-q.com.
Julia owed the IRS thousands.
I was paralyzed with fear.
Then
I heard a commercial for Optima Tax Relief.
Optima Tax Relief is the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and experts in the Fresh Start Initiative.
Optima Tax Relief settled my IRS tax bill.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
It was amazing.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
We have a man who's a warrior, a great military person. Dave McCormick is a 7th-generation Pennsylvanian who grew up in Bloomsburg, went to West Point, and earned a Bronze Star for his service in the First Gulf War. Dave went on to an outstanding career in business, and now he's fighting for the people of this Commonwealth, and he loves this Commonwealth.
Conservative Dave McCormick.
We need new leadership. We need a new president in the White House that's going to get our country back on track. We need a new majority in the Senate that's going to be able to take our country in the right direction.
Dave will vote to secure your borders, stand up to China, unleash incredible amounts of Pennsylvania energy, and he wants to stop Bidenflation. David McCormick, you have my total support and my total endorsement, and you got to win. Dave McCormick.
I'm Dave McCormick, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Dave McCormick. www.davemccormickpa.com.
Hey, fantasy football fans. Do you want to be the owner who was doing a cram session the night before the draft? I didn't think so. You need to start your prep now. This is Faraz from Upper Hand Fantasy. Zach and I are here to get you ready for your fantasy football drafts with insights and advice. From sleepers to busts, we've got you covered and give you the upper hand on your friends. Today is the day to start getting ready for the draft, so join us and stay ahead of the competition. Follow and listen to Upper Hand Fantasy on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Free speech lives here with Don Stensland, 10 till noon on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
We have a great guest coming up, so we'll talk momentarily with him, and we'll update you on everything going on. We got to update the Philly tuna heist. I love that Sean Farish loved this story, but only in South Philadelphia. When you think about all this tuna, hundreds of pounds of tuna that they were getting away with, but they didn't get it all. That's the best piece of this. So this is in South Philadelphia. these they're calling them like food thieves, like a food cartel, and they're targeting especially those huge refrigerated tractor trailer trucks, and they park in South Philly, and so maybe they get there overnight and then they have to wait until the docks open and so on. So if they get there too late or overnight, then they sleep with the cargo, and there is security there. But in this one, these thieves were breaking in, and then the security guard comes, catches them, and wakes up the truck driver. So what's going on here with the great tuna heist with hundreds of pounds of tuna? Now, this is not like Star-Kissed canned tuna. That's not what we're talking about here. They're like the fish, all right? And so one of the headlines, cute, something fishy, $1,000 worth of tuna stolen in a South Philadelphia heist. But these are hundreds of pounds of tuna from the truck right there along Lawrence Street in South Philadelphia. And it happened yesterday. And so Philadelphia police investigating it, cargo truck, refrigerated, and the thieves targeted the truck, which was parked right there. And overnight, in the wee hours of the morning, it was like, I think it happened about 3 o'clock in the morning. Because again, they're waiting for everything. I believe that they're arriving late or overnight, and they're waiting to unload. So the Samuel's Seafood Company, where the truck was making the delivery, that's where the robbery occurred. And they're saying that these thieves were working very quickly. These are not lazy thieves.
I just wonder about the targeting of tuna.
Okay.
I mean, how do you even resell that? Right? Because I can't imagine they're going to sit around and eat $10,000 worth of tuna unless they really like sushi. Like, why? That's what I want to know.
In my opinion, what happens is that you have this ring, because they're saying they're like food.
Yeah, I'm seeing some of the other
right?
headlines.
You seeing it?
Yeah, whether it's snow crab or crab clusters. I mean, seem to have a theme here, right?
Yeah. So it's on demand.
Yeah.
So my theory on it is there's a customer, there's an actual customer who says, not for nothing, but in my restaurant here, where maybe it's not in Philly, but now they're saying, hey, I need this or I need that. I'm doing a wedding. I got to get a deal. And it says I'm doing my Rich Scioli imitation of like Jimmy the Guy. And so there's a demand for it. And then these guys, they put the word out and these guys go get it. Because wasn't it a big thing? Some kind of high end, like some kind of beef, right? It was last month, just a few weeks ago, we had one with it was like filet mignon, but it wasn't. It was a different kind of beef. And so I think, now they're saying in Philadelphia, they've had 100 thefts of cargo citywide just this year, but that last year, in total, there were nearly 260. So is this, okay, so the questions are, okay, they have it on video. Huh?
I guess it's an improvement.
Well, no, we still have, what were the peak months?
Yeah. Well, it says right here we're down about 30% from the same time last year. So
okay,
something's going.
Yo, Jimmy,
right.
We need to step it up for the fall. We'll have some incentives.
Hey, not for nothing, T, but this tuna's going to go for a lot of money. So me and Christopher and Silvio Dante were over there, and we took care of this. Got DVD players in the back. Going to rob some more suits. But you got to understand, you see, the neighborhood, it belonged to Paulie. It was great, and tuna, shrimp, and lobsters, they usually went pretty fast.
Well, the whole world's gone crazy.
Yes, it is, Miss
Thank
Soprano.
You. It is like right out of The Sopranos.
Yeah.
And so they're looking at, they said, nearly 400 pounds of tuna, meaning the fish, the raw fish. So what's going on here? Is there, are they looking into whether or not it was an inside job? Did somebody slip the driver, I don't know, a little melatonin? I don't know.
I should contact some of my relatives in South Philly to see if they're all having tuna sandwiches tonight.
Yeah, see? Maybe it's the rise of the poke bowl, because I will say tuna, that's what I get when I get my poke bowl. I get the tuna. So a demand for the raw tuna. So we'll watch. We'll continue to watch this, but they seem to know when and where to strike. They seem to move quickly and get away with the product quickly and then move the product. So this is an organized crime situation. We'll talk about all of that and more. Speaking of cooking and the kitchen, I got to talk about maybe the fact that you're just sick and tired of that old kitchen, your outdated cabinets. Maybe it's an outdated bathroom. Maybe you've got that ugly old wallpaper or the kind of countertops that make it, so dated. So if you're ready for a refresh, you need to give my friends at Kitchen Magic a call. Kitchen Magic has been transforming spaces quickly, beautifully, and affordably since 1979. From refacing to custom cabinets, what about the backsplash? That's important too. And the countertops. And yes, you can get the kitchen you want now, right now. Kitchen Magic offering 12 months, no payments, no interest financing, plus 10% off your remodel. So schedule that free in-home design consultation. KitchenMagic.com. Get this on the calendar today. It's a free in-home design consultation. KitchenMagic.com. KitchenMagic.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-637-9116. That's 1-800-637-9116. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-637-9116. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano for my friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz and the Bentz Dental Group. His state-of-the-art facility makes your dentistry as easy as can be. Recently, they had a permanent tooth put in. And you know how it is. In the past, you bite down, it's too high. It's always too high. The back and forth getting it just right. Well, not this time. With Dr. Bentz, it fit perfectly the first time. Call the Bentz Dental Group now, 610-272-6949. Visit BentzDentalGroup.com, 610-272-6949.
Tonight's 940 Phillies Diamondbacks game can be heard on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. The Phillies are on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT tonight.
Looking for the confidence to walk away from the 9-to-5? Find out how with Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sundays at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Now through September 15th, purchase high-quality GAF with Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So much developing today. We've got it all for you, and we'll be covering all of the campaigns. We'll talk about Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, across our region, across the nation. And as we zoom in and zoom out, we always want to bring you the very latest local news, national news, watching the weather right now with all these extreme weather alerts and possible, tornadoes touching down again as we see the remnants of what was once Hurricane Debbie and still wreaking havoc down south and across our region. So I hope you're safe, and I thank you for listening this morning here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Dawn Stensland reporting to you, and so much to talk about with somebody who I know that you love and love his work, and this is Kurt Couchman, Senior Fellow in Fiscal Policy for Americans for Prosperity. We think about peace, we think about prosperity, we think about we want it. So, Kurt, it's so good to have you here on this Friday as we think about, what transpired over the last week. It was a week ago that we saw the jobs report, and then we saw the stock market reaction. That continued on into Monday, and a lot of news, fast-moving news about the economy, about fiscal policies, and why they matter. Hey, Kurt, good to have you here.
Hey, Don. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. So, take me through it, because I'll get the pushback either on social media or somebody will call and say, well, Dawn, you can't blame Biden for, the Fed not acting quickly enough, and they should blah, 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 blah. But we can blame Biden and Bidenomics for enough. But take me through what you see, as we look at 1 week after. So the zoom in is looking at 1 week, day to day of the jobs report, but then zooming out a bit. And as we think about the past nearly 4 years, then zoom out beyond that and take me through what you see as far as fiscal policy related to our economic woes of today.
Absolutely. So we'll look backward, and I hope we'll get a chance to look forward as well about some of the challenges we're facing. But this week we saw a pretty weak jobs report. It was a lot below expectations. There are indications that the economy is slowing down. It's probably too early to call it a recession. There's a technical definition of all of that. But the economy is not growing as fast as it normally does, and that's a cause for concern. The stock market reacted to that news. The valuations of a lot of different stocks have fallen because of that, and so people's retirement accounts are taking a bit of a hit right now. Stepping back to the last 4 years, or 3.5 or so, we've seen a really activist administration and enabled by Congress in the first 2 years to try to reshape American society in pretty fundamental ways. We're right about the 2-year anniversary of the CHIPS Act, trying to engage industrial policy to reshore or onshore computer chip manufacturing, and then also the Inflation Reduction Act, which was basically a Green New Deal with lipstick. It created not cap and trade, but subsidize and trade. There's all these tax credits that are tradable on Wall Street. You can sell them if you don't have enough tax liability for yourself, so you can keep churning out all the green energy stuff. But those increased inflationary pressure, the real straw that broke the camel's back was the American Rescue Plan Act, which was enacted in March 2021. That's the moment when the Federal Reserve lost control of the money supply and of inflation, and it surged. This was something that passed with only Democratic support. I think there was only one Democratic member of Congress, Jared Golden from Maine, who voted against the thing. But all the rest of them voted for it. Vice President Harris was the tie-breaking vote in the Senate, and of course President Biden signed it into law. And they were told by Democratic economists, hey, don't do this. This is way too big. This is going to cause inflation. And they went ahead and did it anyway, bailing out, union pension plans and all the states that locked down the hardest, and just throwing money at every which way to benefit favored constituencies and to fulfill a really silly campaign promise that President Biden had made.
Yeah, when you think about, the White House, the headline, I know the headlines were, the White House cheers the Inflation Reduction Act, which is ironically named, but the right. So-called anniversary of it, and then the R word appearing at the same time. And it shows you right there the cause and effect of just poor policies, and the fact that but you know what, Kurt, they rely on the media being complicit, not to call them the so-called mainstream media, right? That right. They're not getting called. Nobody's looking. If this were a Trump policy during the Trump era, or take any Republican administration, whether it's on a national level, statewide, et cetera, you would see the media pounding on it and saying, oh, this is an anniversary, but look at, and they would do massive coverage. So is part of it that people are just not, they're able to get away with it because they're able to say, well, it's not because of us. We don't control this.
Yeah, that's right. And part of the reason is that Congress doesn't have an actual budget system. They don't do a budget. They never have. And so, Democrats are like, oh, it's all tax cuts and defense spending. And like they're part of the budget, of course. But the bigger deal is, a lot of the autopilot entitlement spending that's been going on. But then also during crises, during the 4 years that Nancy Pelosi was Speaker, 2007 to 2011, and then again during the last few years of the Trump administration and the first to the Biden administration, the debt burden on the economy just exploded. Like if you look at the numbers, it's really shocking, and it makes sense when you think about it. The Speaker of the House has inordinate power to set fiscal policy because that's where tax legislation has to originate, and most of the spending legislation does as well. So that's part of the reason that they're able to shift the blame, because nobody really is responsible for the whole. They all kind of do what they want to do, and then they blame everybody else for other pieces that are factors, but not necessarily the main thing. So it's really the spending binge that from Congress that forced the Fed's hand to increase the money supply much faster than the economy could absorb it. And then, of course, the Biden administration's regulatory onslaught has slowed the economy so that there's less of an economy to absorb all that extra money as well.
And one of the issues, and this goes here to the heart of Pennsylvania, and I saw you had put this out on Twitter, on social media, you were criticizing Senator Casey here, who's running up against, obviously, Dave McCormick, but that Senator Casey is talking about greedflation. That's what he blames. Oh, no. It's not his policy. It's not Democrats' policy or Biden's policy. Kirk Couchman, it's greedflation. That's who you should blame.
Yeah, no, it's been kind of a funny thing to watch him try to make this argument. He actually has published a series of reports talking about the hardships that people have been feeling, and that's all true. I mean, we've all felt it. But then he tries to pin the blame on corporations, and when you dig into his methodology, what you realize is that, first of all, he cherry picks the start and end dates. He starts in the middle of the pandemic when things were at their lowest, worst point, and then measures 2 years after that when inflation was right about at the highest point. He's looking at corporate profits when doing this, except he's not looking at corporate profits. He's looking at something kind of related to that, but doesn't take account for a variety of adjustments. And then over the longer term, if you look at corporate profits as a share of the economy, they're usually right about 10% of GDP. Right now, they're right about 10% of GDP. They bumped up a little bit during the pandemic when Congress and the Fed were just dumping money into the economy. But so did a lot of other things, state and local government coffers, people's personal accounts. There were a lot of things that bumped up because of this massive influx of cash. So it's not surprising. But the root cause of the inflation is Congress's overspending and overborrowing. And so, the members that are most responsible for doing that, and Democrats have by and large been almost unanimous in supporting this stuff, and Republicans have been mostly opposed, depending on the bill, sometimes entirely opposed. So it's not surprising that the Democrats that are responsible for the spending and debt binge are now trying to shift the blame, especially right before the November elections.
Amen. You've also you've posted within the last hour, I think, about EVs. And take me through, and I just want to switch off of, because I love focusing on the fiscal policy, but this is all part of it. But when we think about EVs and subsidies for them, take me through your philosophy on this, Kurt.
Yeah, I embrace innovation. Technological advancement is how society is able to do more with the same amount of resources. I mean, the stuff that constitutes the earth has been basically constant since the dawn of mankind, right? But we've figured out different and better ways of doing things, and having electric vehicles, I think it's a fantastic development insofar as it's consumer-driven. There's lots of things that we want from our vehicles. We want safety, efficiency, affordability, lots of different things. But government policy is systematically pushing certain priorities over others. So there's been a maniacal focus on efficiency, and efficiency is one of the important things, but it's not the only thing. So, I'm all for EVs and other kinds of technological innovation with vehicles and lots of other things. I just don't think the government I don't think it's appropriate for the government to put its thumb on the scale and supplant consumer preferences with the preferences of the political class, which are largely, upper middle income kinds of sentiments rather than, a holistic look at what the American people want. There's also the knowledge problem. Like, they don't know what I want, what you want, what Jimmy down the block wants. Like, those are things that the market is supposed to provide options for and let people make their own decisions about things. So pro-innovation, anti-subsidy, that's my philosophy.
Yeah, amen. Well, I love it. I hope you come back again. It's great to have you on. Kurt Couchman, Americans for Prosperity. Thanks, and I hope you have an awesome Friday. Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you. I'd love to be back.
Absolutely. Kurt Couchman. Follow him on Twitter or on social media, wherever you find your social media. So he just has a vast knowledge of all things fiscal policy, and that's just it. It sounds boring when you meet somebody and they're like, "What are you?" I'm a policy analyst. But his background is interesting. But as well, when we think about these policies, who comes up with them, how they come up with them, and then remember, when you look at these big bloated policies that half the time I feel like lawmakers don't even read through what they're actually reading, they are peppered with little treats and little sellouts, and that's the important piece of this too. So we need full transparency. We need more checks and balances for sure. So I always appreciate his level of expertise. All right, we have more audio around the corner. I do want to get to that. 855-839-1210, the number to call. And what am I talking about? Chapman Windows Doors. I love Chapman. Chapman family team, Mike and Mark Chapman, Chester County. Great guys. And really, as their families have grown, their business has grown, as you well know, impeccable reputations for sure. I trust Chapman. If you're thinking about windows, doors, that's great. What about siding? What about stucco remediation? That's a critical investment in your home. And these certified Chapman installers, they are the professionals you want on that job as well. So here's what they're offering, and this is only lasting through Labor Day. So you want to get this. You want to contact them and get it on the calendar, okay? Because they are offering through Labor Day, are you ready for this? 20% off your James Hardy siding project and your exterior makeover, as long as it includes the James Hardy siding project. So I'm talking about windows, doors, shutters, that exterior makeover, which includes the James Hardy siding project. Your house, you're going to love it. I mean, not just because of the energy efficiency and the beauty, but also it's going to add value to your home. So 610-431-8898, 610-431-8898. You can text, you can call. I know you're probably just going to take the virtual tour, see all the makeovers, the before and the afters, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
The Phillies are hot.
Swung on. In the air, deep left center field. And that ball is gone as Alec Bohm has turned the game around.
And tonight, you'll hear them here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
It's in the pitch, blasted down the right field line, and that ball is gone. Harper has hit the 3-run home run to break it wide open.
Catch the Phils and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Coverage starts tonight at 9:05 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
A tornado touched down in Newcastle County, Delaware, as Debbie's remnants moved through the region. Chichi Rodriguez, the first Puerto Rican to make the World Golf Hall of Fame, dies at 88. And a man sues the New York City Museum of Ice Cream, saying he broke his ankle jumping into the sprinkle pool.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano at Batteries Plus Bulbs in Mount Laurel and Northfield. My great friend Roy is looking for help. A handy do-it-yourselfer would be ideal. Great low-pressure part-time job. Customer service is the key. If you're willing to do what it takes to help, you need to talk to Roy. Be part of the team. They power it, they light it, they fix it. Roy says tell them all the time, we fix things, phones and all of that. Give them a call at 856-638-0778. Batteries Plus Bulbs, Mount Laurel and Northfield.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
I am Judith Krupnik, president of Cherry Hill Volvo. I drive an absolutely fabulous XC90 hybrid, the best of both electric and internal combustion. It's really an incredible Volvo. We are offering a $15,000 discount when leasing any 2024 XC90 hybrid in stock. If ever an XC90 was on your list, now is the time to visit Cherry Hill Volvo. $15,000.
It's here, the summer heat, and it's getting hotter, and that heat's just pouring into your home. Need a solution? Trust PJ Fitzpatrick for the perfect new insulated and vented roof. They've earned thousands of 5-star reviews and back all new roofs with a lifetime guarantee on materials and labor. PJ Fitzpatrick, voted best of Philly, installs most roofs in just one day. Set up a free design consultation. Plus, they have special financing if you need it. Visit trustpj.com today. That's trustpj.com.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet?
Not yet.
Do it today.
Okay.
At 1210 WPHT.
Other news of the day. Hey, Dawn Stensland here. 855-839-1210 is the number to call. I want to get through some of these different stories that I've been, talking about all morning. And that really is, thinking about what's going on. I'll take you to the Philadelphia region and the burglaries, also the shoplifting. So thank God the actual homicide rate has dropped a little bit, even though 4 were murdered Wednesday in Philadelphia. One of them they've identified as this guy who was working at a local bakery, and it looks like it was a road rage situation. We're not sure, but young man, families speaking out about it, shot on the boulevard, on the Roosevelt Boulevard. It's crazy when we think about that. But in the suburbs, I know they had put out a word of, in Abington in particular, because you have an active police force there, community policing, and just putting out the word about some of these burglary rings that have been striking our region. And I think that's really a good rule of thumb. If you're thinking about heading out for vacation, for example, you want to make sure that a neighbor, somebody is watching your home. The Ring doorbell is not good enough. In the latest one in Abington, these are organized crime individuals who are following, in particular, Asian business owners. So they're following them from the city of Philadelphia and following back home because these family-owned businesses, they live in the suburbs. And so in particular, Abington police putting 2 and 2 together saying, okay, why are these people being targeted? And then realizing they're being followed. And we've seen this before. This is not the first time. We've seen different crime rings following people. I know there were a few that happened last summer. People from Philadelphia following, in particular, women into the suburbs in Delaware County. So just, have just a heads up to you, because that's really what this is. police putting out the word and just reminding us all, be diligent, watch your surroundings. And if you're heading out of town, even a lot of times I think it's a great idea if you have a dog, instead of kenneling the dog, get a trusted person, even if it's the neighbor's teenager, whatever, but get a trusted person to just do some house sitting and keep the dog in the house, keep them in the house, because then maybe, the dog's in the yard, the dog is barking. A dog is, by the way, number one deterrent, even over your Ring cam, even over all of it, for burglars, I should say. They don't want to mess with a dog. And that's for many reasons. In part, they don't want to get bit. They don't want the blood and the DNA, but we'll just go to another house that doesn't have a dog. So we have that going on. We also have in the headlines, and this story broke yesterday afternoon after the Dawn show here was off air. But this is news of the former Philadelphia police officer, Mark Dial, who was charged. Remember, Krasner had vowed, our DA had vowed to put him away and had charged him with first-degree murder, which, remember, first-degree murder means that you have that intent. It's like a premeditated situation where you intend to murder someone and take their life with malice. It's an absurd charge. But this officer who was charged with, by all accounts, it was a tragedy. He was charged in the shooting death of a man during a traffic stop. Happened 1 year ago this month. And so Officer Dial released on a $200,000 bail. And this after the district attorney's office withdrew a first-degree murder charge against Mark Dial, who was 27 years old at the time of this traffic stop and shooting. So Dial now facing a third-degree murder charge. That'll be the trial, and the trial has been delayed until next May. So this decision has come after Dial's defense lawyers had complained to the court and through their filings that prosecutors, under the direction of District Attorney Larry Krasner, that the Krasner team had not turned over an expert witness report that they had commissioned months ago. So this wasn't recent. It was months ago. And so they have an expert witness report. They commissioned it months ago. They've known about it. They think it's a key for their trial, and they plan to use this expert, and they withheld it. And so we've heard, this is not the first time that Krasner's office has been accused of kind of, playing dirty and trying to bend the rules and break the rules. And so the trial date pushed back now until sometime in May, giving the defense attorneys representing the former officer to respond to this expert report on Pennsylvania's use of force law. So this all went down in Kensington 1 year ago, August of 2023. And you think about Kensington and the climate of drugs, crime, danger. The man who was shot multiple times through the driver's side window during that traffic stop, identified as 27-year-old Eddie Irizarry. And Irizarry's family, they've also complained after yesterday's reports, because they said that Krasner's office did not even notify them that there was a court proceeding or that this was all going on. And we hear that all the time as well, that the Krasner office, that they're not good at communicating some of these issues. I mean, the family of Eddie Irizarry, they're heartbroken. They're shocked after this happened. They are coping with all of this happening, and they have a right, as the family members who are of a loved one who was shot and died after a traffic stop. They have a right to know about what's going on and to be in court if they wish, just as former Officer Dial's mom and dad and family members and fellow officers have a right to support him and be in court. And so this is, I just think it's a lack of empathy, a lack of high quality communication, a lack of organization that we see over and over, the complaints about this office. I get it. It's a big city. It's Philadelphia. But gosh, there are some big cities that don't have all these complaints. Why do we constantly hear this? And by the way, the family of the Irizarry family, for example, this family, I would imagine that they're supportive of the third-degree murder charges. I would imagine they're supportive of the prosecution going after the officer. But here they're critical now because they're saying, look, there's a lack of organization. We don't get the heads up. We weren't even notified. Why weren't we notified? So you see both sides here really cracking down and criticizing the office of one DA Larry Krasner. All right, a quick break. A lot of breaking news right around the corner. Dawn Show here, 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. The best place to bet games this summer is FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can get $150 in bonus bet if your first $5 bet wins. Then you can bet on all your favorite international teams and all your favorite sports from basketball to badminton, soccer to swimming. FanDuel has it all. Don't miss your chance to score $150 in bonus bets if that first bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/Dom to sign up and start betting the games today. Make every moment more with FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? 1-800-GAMBLER.
If it's been a minute since you've considered an Infiniti, well, it's time to take another look. Head over to Infiniti of Westchester today and secure rates as low as 4.99% on Infiniti certified pre-owned models. And this month, take advantage of amazing offers on new Infinitis during our end of summer event. Don't wait. Visit us in-store at Infiniti of Westchester today or visit us online at infinityofwestchester.com. Philly rides with us.
Offer not valid in all states or prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Great. Maxed out cards, rent is due, bills are piling up. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
We should do what my brother did. He went to GetCash.com and got $3,000.
With our bad credit?
GetCash.com is different. They're one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000.
I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork.
Nope. My brother said it was fast and easy. He did it right from his phone.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan of up to $5,000 in minutes, and your cash can hit your bank account as soon as the next day. Our lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history.
Great news! I went to getcash.com and we'll have our money as soon as tomorrow.
Wow, that is fast.
If you need extra cash, go to getcash.com. That's getcash.com. Getcash.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Donald J. Trump back on the campaign trail today. Mar-a-Lago yesterday, as he held that news conference, has to deal with the biased media, the fake news as he calls it. and then Kamala Harris being forced to answer to Trump. We'll get to all of that. Earlier, I had gone into the story of that newly released police video, or videos, I should say, because we've seen different ones since July 13th, when a wannabe assassin came very close, too close, to assassinating former President Donald J. Trump. We know that the investigation continues. There have been more calls for transparency. And if you were with us earlier in the last hour, you saw and heard some of that body cam as well as dash cam footage, and looking at that. And the takeaway is that these officers, these were some critical moments. And so it's almost like piecing this together, right? And that part of that starts at least 3 minutes prior to when the wannabe assassin, I'm trying not to say his name, the wannabe assassin, the 20-year-old, when he actually opened fire. So they had 3+ minutes to deal with this. And those moments, and this was the response by Pennsylvania law enforcement at the building where the gunman was positioned. So it was not the Secret Service. They were not running around. They were not urgent. They were not acting or hustling. That's not what was going on. These were local law enforcement, Pennsylvania law enforcement at that level. And you can hear in their voices, whether you see the video, but these are young guys. And that's why, sometimes people say, well, in these jobs, and they didn't have enough training. They didn't have, to me, I look at them and I simply think, I have to wonder this, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but I will always believe that these men acting in within the true faith of their profession of law enforcement and risking their own, and they're risking their lives. I mean, there's no question to me that they think there's an a guy with a gun is up on the roof and they are hustling and they are not even thinking of themselves. They are rushing into the fire and as it were, or rushing toward the bullets, as it were. So I just think these guys are going to end up being hailed as heroes. I really do. And I think that they knocked that wannabe guy off of his game and really led him to pulling that trigger in a nervous, quicker way than he wanted. And maybe he was off aim, if you will. So this footage is being analyzed, and the Secret Service confirms that they're looking at that when you think about it. But I just want to highlight that for you. If you haven't seen that video in its entirety and listened to it and taken it in, to me it is significant that these young men, and that's why I believe in goodness and the goodness of, they're just acting in a way that's heroic and courageous and selfless. So thank you. And we don't know all of their names. We haven't identified them, but there were people, remember, initially in the at the managerial level of the Secret Service and the federal level, who wanted to blame these guys, who wanted to blame them and throw them under the bus and say, oh, these local yokels, and they messed up. No, they didn't. They acted heroically and courageously. That's what I see. 855-839-1210. Okay, let's get to Trump. Let's listen to Trump. He holds this Mar-a-Lago news conference. He is, I think this is, I like his demeanor. I like that he is, you tell me what you hear, what you see, but he's confirming, he's saying, hey, I want to do as many debates as possible with Harris. Let's get this on the calendar. And he talks about upcoming in September. So let's do this. Here's Trump.
Okay. Mr. President, you have not had a public campaign event for nearly a week now. Tomorrow you'll be in Montana, which is not a swing state. Some of your allies have expressed concern that you're not taking this race seriously, particularly at a time where there is enthusiasm on the other side. Why haven't you been campaigning this week?
Because I'm leading by a lot, and because I'm letting their convention go through. And I am campaigning a lot. I'm doing tremendous amounts of taping here. We have commercials that are at a level I don't think that anybody's ever done before. Plus, in certain cases, I see many of you in the room where I'm speaking to you on phones, I'm speaking to radio, I'm speaking to television. Television's coming over here. Excuse me, what are we doing right now? She's not doing any news conference. You know why she's not doing it? Because she can't do a news conference. She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference. And I'm sorry, we need smart people to lead this country because our country's never been in this danger before, both economic.
Can you just replay that snippy reporter just one more time off the top?
Okay.
Mr. President, you have not had a public campaign event for nearly a week now. Tomorrow you'll be in Montana, which is not a swing state. Some of your allies have expressed concern that you're not taking this race seriously, particularly at a time where there is enthusiasm on the other side.
Some people laughed.
Why haven't you been campaigning this week?
So just stop it there. I just wanted to go over the reporter's question because, let me just take you through it. And if you're just joining us, I'm Dawn Stensland, Menti. If you don't know me or my background, so yes, I'm proud to be here at Talk Radio 1210 WPHT as a host of this show, which is relatively newly created. Before that, I started on the Zioli show with Zioli and Greg Stocker, 9 years ago, as their news person. And then if you really back it up, my main career is as a journalist, an independent. And I played by all the right rules, went to journalism school and worked hard, paid my dues as a journalist. I was a registered independent because that was what I believed was the important thing to do. And I did my very best every single day to never show any bias on any level, whether it's political or otherwise, but to be a fair and objective person. That really was my goal. I think that I did that pretty well. And quite frankly, I still get some people who will come across social media and go, "What? You were a conservative that whole time? You're a conservative? I used to love you." And that makes me feel good. That's a compliment to me, okay? And I've also been an adjunct professor locally for a couple of years as well. So if I'm teaching a journalism class to this snippety snip lady who's listen to her cadence and listen to the way, and you're going, and it's not even a swing state, and it's so snippy, and she's triggered, and to me, that's not professional. And even if this is somebody, first of all, she would never ask a question in that way to Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, would she? Because she wouldn't.
She wouldn't get to ask a question. I don't take it.
Well said. But it's a great point, Henry Machette. It's a great point but even if she did, her tone would be different. She would be more professional, and she would not add all these little things, and you can just hear her. First of all, she's a nightmare, this one. Oh, and you want to go out to dinner tonight? Oh, yeah, you want to go out to dinner and you didn't even take out the trash? It's that tone. Little snippy, sassy. Boy, she negative energy. And Trump, I love that he, under his breath, is just like, what a,
Yeah, not so subtly under his breath.
Right. And some people did laugh in the room, which I have to laugh at. But the point is that he's physically standing there. He's physically standing there holding a news conference and taking Miss Little Snippety Snip's phone call, question, not phone call, in person. But all she can do is sort of berate him and lecture him, and she's not professional. She is not a professional journalist, and she is showing and revealing her bias. And so for anybody who says to me, well, Dawn, he's not being presidential, because that was that classy that he would say that, questioning her question. But this is where I think Trump has, I appreciate him as a longtime member of the so-called mainstream media, because he calls it like he sees it, and he's calling it out appropriately. And she is not being a professional journalist. And I wish somebody would play that for her and say, is your tone, is your demeanor, are all the little phrases that you're inserting and injecting there, is that really professional? Was that the most objective question you could have asked? And the answer is, the truth is, she is not a professional journalist. She is not being objective, and she is showing her bias big time, and he knows that. So sometimes it's important to really do a deep dive into what somebody like Trump has to deal with on a daily basis. And what I will say about him and watching him was there is an evolution on this level, and this is important because even though he called out the so-called mainstream media, and even though he called out, the swamp, right? Now he's used to it. He's used to dealing with these individuals. And so the way that he deals with it, in my humble opinion, it's not over the top. It's just right. It's like the Goldilocks scenario where he has dealt with Russia. He has dealt with social media colluding with even former and current federal CIA, FBI, etc. He's dealt with the media bias before he was elected. Even I'm going way back to 2016. But then think about what happened when he was elected. And that was still some of my favorite television ever. Remember when Wolf Blitzer, when his beard nearly fell off that night? It just was delicious. And play it again. Look at the numbers again. Look at the number. This can't be right. And they were so shocked. And you and people like you and me, we were not shocked. We were thanking God. But then when Trump won and they all realized, ruh-roh, he won, then he experienced a new level of media bias that we've never seen in this country. And it was unloaded on him. And you know what? Sometimes he reacted to it in a very strong way. And I think part of that was because he had, no matter what you tell me, he was a media darling. And he was just a darling in general. He was this rich guy who everybody sucked up to. Everywhere he went in the world, he was Donald J. Trump. Right? And so everybody, Mika and Joe, the media, they all just, and they just fell all over him and they just sucked up to him big time. And I think that even though he knew in his brain what would happen, I don't know that as a human being you could ever prepare for that moment when he became a Republican president of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. And I don't think anybody could be prepared for the avalanche of hate and bias that they, at that moment, started slinging and have slung. And he's gotten it. Is that, oh boy, maybe I'm a grammar jar offender. Have slung, had slung. I have to look at that.
Slung just doesn't sound right.
Slung sounds weird. It even sounds dirty. And it was dirty. It has been dirty. But what they've been slinging at Trump ever since he won is unprecedented. That's what I'm trying to say here. And so he had to go through that evolution of dealing with it. And sometimes it distracted him because he's human. And then as he experienced the unprecedented peace and prosperity that he brought on this country, and he did. And I will say I voted for him, but I never imagined that one guy could make that level of a difference. But he knew where to find the money. He knew how to look at budgets. He knew how to impact trade and make it more fair. He knew how to save the jobs. I didn't really realize how all the layers of his competence for the job. And so when it comes to the economy and business and jobs and all of that, these policies, he knew how to do it right. And we all basked in the glow of that level of peace and prosperity that we have not seen in our nation prior to Donald J. Trump. I cannot emphasize that to you enough. And if you don't believe me, go back and look at the numbers pre-pandemic. But then even look at, and Trump has said this at rallies, and he has said this, look back at the numbers and do your research. And I always retweet some of the research every once in a while so you can review. But even with the pandemic going on and what he was doing to try to offset that, okay, and so it was not as bad as it could have been because he was trying to mitigate the impact, the horrifying impact of a worldwide pandemic. So what Joe Biden and his Harris-Biden administration, what they inherited, look at it. Look up the numbers yourself and be true to yourself. You deserve to do that. If you're going to vote for Harris, Walz, you be you. But at least know the truth and look up all the numbers. But my point to you about Trump and the evolution of dealing with this level of bias and hatred and vitriol from the media, which has been complicit, and then think about weaponization of government, weaponization of DOJ, and think about that layered on top of it. So what happened July 13th, in my humble opinion, with Trump surviving that, is that I also think in his evolution of being a famous billionaire, businessman, running for political office, winning, running again, being up against all of it, right? And now in his third run, he is somebody who is a veteran at the campaign and all the BS that he knows he's going to face. He is not triggered anymore by this media. And there's a calm to him and to his demeanor that I love. And it's just a calm confidence that I'm really appreciating and will carry him to victory November 5th. And I'm thankful for it. Maybe it's all the prayer. Maybe that's part of it. I know I've been praying for him and this administration and leadership and God's will in all of their lives and our lives. So whether it's the power of prayer, I had retweeted or re-X'd, I'm supposed to say, the Reverend Billy Graham's son, and who I love some of his tweets, and he put out there that, your vote is not a Valentine. So then I had to put, roses are red, violets are blue. A vote for Trump shows that your love of country and freedom is true. I couldn't help it. But he was saying your vote's not a Valentine for any particular candidate. It's really a vote for the policies, and I'm paraphrasing now because I don't have it in front of me, but the policies that support peace and prosperity is basically what he's saying. He's right. Your vote is not a Valentine, but your vote determines which way this country is going to go. And so before you vote, please, number one, vote. But number two, if you're on the fence over whether that's statewide or at the top of the ticket, and maybe you're one of these individuals, and I remember, who was it a week ago? Was that Peter or Dennis? Maybe both of you calling in saying that you are pro-life and basically saying Trump's not conservative enough and you're staying home. Please just put this to prayer, and please also research it. And maybe you're upset, and I get that. You have every right to be. But think about everything that's at stake, and do it due diligence, because your vote does matter, and every single vote is going to matter. Speaking of votes, I do want to get into Glenn Youngkin, because that's a great one too. But I have to break. Okay, I'm talking too much. All right, so we have to break. Around the break, you'll hear more of Trump. You'll hear of Kamala Harris. She feels like, I guess she's outed. She's forced to walk over and briefly talk to the press, but she makes sure that the planes are, that it's loud. It's a loud environment on the tarmac, as it were. And then I'm going to get into as well, I just really quickly want to touch upon the paper ballots and why that matters. Thanks for being here. Be right back.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Kathy, good morning. Thank you so much for your service.
Happy to be here.
Very interesting quote that I read in 2020. You retired.
My passion wasn't being fueled in terms of giving back to others. Travis Manion I was part of when I was at Prudential. Through them, I found purpose and passion in terms of giving back to the community and being able to kind of share what I've learned in my Air Force career, my corporate career, giving back to the students for the future.
Kathy Christian, thank you for serving our great country. We are forever indebted.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
We have a man who's a warrior, a great military person, Dave McCormick is a seventh-generation Pennsylvanian who grew up in Bloomsburg, went to West Point, and earned a Bronze Star for his service in the first Gulf War. Dave went on to an outstanding career in business, and now he's fighting for the people of this Commonwealth, and he loves this Commonwealth.
Conservative Dave McCormick.
We need new leadership. We need a new president in the White House that's going to get our country back on track. We need a new majority in the Senate that's going to be able to take our country in the right direction.
Dave will vote to secure your borders, stand up to China, unleash incredible amounts of Pennsylvania energy, and he wants to stop Bidenflation. David McCormick, you have my total support and my total endorsement, and you got to win. Dave McCormick.
I'm Dave McCormick, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Dave McCormick. www.davemccormickpa.com.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. We all love summer, right? But the beach isn't just for summer. In fact, the beach, and in particular the Cape May beach, is just beautiful in the fall. If you haven't been to Cape May in the fall, you're missing out, and you should book your stay at the Grand Hotel of Cape May for a September to remember. The Grand offers special midweek packages so you can enjoy the beach without breaking the bank. Stay 2 nights and save 10%. Stay 3 nights, get 10% off and $55 a night in resort credits. Stay 5 nights, you're going to get 10% off and $65 a night in resort credits, and they can be used at Hemingway's for food and drink, the gift shop, and so much more. The Grand offers guest rooms, suites, and townhomes equipped with a kitchenette, and they have 2 huge heated pools, 1 outdoor and 1 indoor. I'm telling you, the Grand is my happy place, and you will not be disappointed. Book directly with them for the best rates. Book your stay today at 800-257-8550 or visit them online at grandhotelcapemay.com. And our next live show is Friday, September 6th. So book your stay today, grandhotelcapemay.com.
Just like our offensive line protects our star quarterback, plumbers protect the health of the nation. And Philadelphia Plumbers Union Local 690 is no different. In hospitals, commercial, industrial, and residential, with the best trained plumbers in the world, you can be sure your project is done on time and on budget, no matter how big or small. So when your business needs to build new or expand existing facilities, you can count on the members of Plumbers Union Local 690. Visit plumbers690.org.
40 days to lose up to 40-plus pounds with NJ Diet. It only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40-plus pounds. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work to personalize supplements that will target your hormonal imbalances so you can lose that weight. Then NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep it off. Call Dr. T, 855-5-NJ-DIET, or go to njdiet.com. 40 days up to 40 pounds. 40 days up to 40 pounds. NJ Diet.
Yo, Roy is Ford. We know your favorite station is 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
So let's continue on, shall we? Do we have a little more Trump talking at Mar-a-Lago? He was riffing, going off, talking about, well, first of all, he was announcing that they've confirmed at least one date where they will debate, but he's talking about debating as much as possible. And so I think that's a good thing. I cannot imagine why is it that Kamala Harris would not welcome that? So, Let's hear more of DJT, and then we also have Kamala, and hers is so short we could play the whole thing practically. You want to play Kamala first?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Here's Kamala Harris, as this is after the Trump long-form news conference in Mar-a-Lago. Here is what she did. So they call her over. She has her sunglasses on. She walks over. So they have to call her over to their little area because they're cordoned off.
President Trump had a press conference today. He talked about a lot of things. I wonder if you have a reaction to what he talked about.
Well, I'm glad that he's finally agreed to a debate on September 10th. I'm looking forward to it, and hope he shows up.
Are you open to more debate?
I am happy to have that conversation about an additional debate for after September 10th, for sure.
He proposed two more debates.
Like I said, happy to have that conversation.
Why do you think he pulled out of a debate with you? Why do you think
I am beyond trying to speculate about how he thinks.
What else? Can you comment on some of his other criticisms? He made a whole litany of them today. Some of them are about your...
I was too busy talking to voters. I didn't hear them.
Some of the criticism has been about your vice presidential pick and his leaving the National Guard at 24 years. Vance said that he deserted his own troops or his own colleagues. What's your take on that?
Listen, I praise anyone who has presented themselves to serve our country. And I think that we all
That's not the question.
Madam Vice President, there's been a lot of questions about when you're going to sit down for your first interview since being the nominee. Do you have any update
I've
on
talked to my team. I want us to get an interview scheduled before the end of the month.
Thank you.
What do you make about the attack on your husband's face? Thank you so much.
So there it is, and very quick and not tough questions at all. And even the softball of, well, why do you think he? No, the question where you go, well, why do you think he backed out of that? He never backed out. That's not what happened. What happened was you have a formality here, and they did a switcheroo of a candidate over the weekend. He had agreed to a debate with another debate with Joe Biden. It was on the books, but now she's a new person that they set up there. So she does not want to debate Trump 3 times. She'll try to get away with whatever she can do. But Trump, he's saying, and I believe that he's right. Well, how do you argue with that? He's saying we need to have as many debates as possible. So the one that's confirmed is September 10th. Now, Trump had said, and here's what else is interesting, because they go in order of who, the networks all agree who has what. So you have ABC, then NBC, and Fox. So I think Trump would hope that it would be NBC on September 10th. And then I believe he wants ABC next and then Fox. I think that's what Trump was hoping for. But ABC News, they came out and confirmed that theirs is September 10th. So there's a little back and forth. Do we have any more? Or no, he's proposing it's September 4th. Excuse me. Trump is exposing ABC September 4th. Then Trump proposes September 10th would be NBC, I believe. No, September 25th. Who's on first? Sorry to do that to you. He's proposing Fox News in Pennsylvania, and then September 25th on NBC. That's what he's proposing, and her administration is only agreeing to one.
Why am I not surprised? I mean, did you hear what you just said about setting up a press conference like that? We're looking to do one by the end of the month, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't set one up in 3 weeks. Is it that hard?
No, she doesn't.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we're hoping we might,
And she's allowed to get away with it. She's allowed. Nobody's saying, well, why? Why aren't you?
Right. No one.
What's up with that?
Like, yeah. Why? Why? Maybe.
Well, Donald Trump would do it right now. If you approached him and said, "Okay, can we do this tonight at 8:00?" He would just do it.
Yeah,
he would just do it right then and there.
He'd do it on a soapbox in a field.
Yeah.
Excuse me, not a low energy soapbox. Is there any more Trump audio that you want to play? I know that he spoke for about an hour, but are there any other?
Yeah, sure. Let's listen into this. What do you think?
But the fact that you can get no votes, lose in the primary system, in other words, you had 14 or 15 people, she was the first one out, and that you can then be picked to run for president, it seems to me actually unconstitutional.
The little music sting. But he's exactly right. I mean, he's right to question this, that it's bizarre that nobody's questioning this at all. Nobody. Now, it's not official. The other piece of this is it's really not official until their convention goes through. And so that's a piece of this that Trump is saying they have to wait as far as the debates. They're going to wait until they're the actual, official team and candidate. But it's incredible to me the way that the media looks at this and how the rules of reporting, if you will, are absolutely different for Trump on one hand and Harris Biden on the other. And by the way, where is President Joe Biden? He's still the president, isn't he?
Last I heard.
Has anybody seen Joe Biden? I know that they were kidding around and putting him on milk cartons and whatnot, but it's weird that we just have not seen him. Now,
didn't he do this CBS interview the other day? And I feel like that's already been swept under the rug.
And it doesn't air yet.
Oh, it hasn't aired yet.
It won't, right? We're seeing snippets of it being released.
I wasn't sure. I saw there was something about it.
When was that even done?
Who knows?
When did that interview even happen? And I know we talked about a lot of polls, the 7 critical battleground states. inflation, immigration are still, according to most of these polls, inflation, the economy, number one, immigration, number two. So that's good for Trump and company. But they're neck and neck in the key swing states, according to some of those polls that have been released, depending on which poll. National polls, I look more at state by state polls. I think those can be more accurate than the so-called national polls. Do I have to take a quick break here? I have to keep on to time. A shout out to Dr. Bentz, by the way, because I didn't want to say it all morning, but I had this major procedure for sure, as I was in the dental, oral surgery chair for about 4 hours yesterday. I had this weird thing happen. I know. It's a hot mess. I have stitches. They did like a bone graft, and oh my God, it's been so. My husband was like, "There's no way you can go into work and talk." I think sometimes Lair Bear hopes that something will prevent me from talking.
Not today. You got 6 hours of Dawn Stensland. Plenty.
I loved working with Sean. He's just so great, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's the best.
And I love how he just will slip into the Trump voice.
Yeah.
And if somebody, by the way, if somebody's listening, and then you're flipping around or not paying, you go, "Was that Trump?" Because he sounds exactly like him.
I actually got a call during the morning show, and he was convinced that Sean is just Rich Zeoli in disguise.
Do you know that that's really interesting? Because when Sean first came on at 6 a.m. with Kale and Company, filling in for Nick Kale, I thought to myself for the first time, I hear a little of his voice that's a little Zeoli-ish.
Yeah. Oh,
really? I never heard it before.
It wasn't until this guy pointed it out. I'm like, you know what? You're kind of right.
Yep.
But he was adamant that we were like pulling a fast one on him and all the listeners, and that
you hear the Zeoli-ness in his voice?
Yeah.
I don't for some reason.
You know what? I have to. Oh my gosh, we have to get Sean to do a Zeoli. That would be hysterical.
Rich will come up to me all the time and goes, "When are you going to learn to do my voice, Jimmy? When are you going to learn to do my voice?" And I just tell him, "Look, you give me nothing to go by. There's nothing that I can go by."
Are you kidding?
Maybe I'm not paying too much attention, but to me, Sean Farish,
Farish,
sorry,
with Parrish.
Sorry. He kind of sounds like a Sam Kinison almost. Like there's almost like a Sam Kinison inflection in his voice.
That's funny. Well, let us know. We'll have to have fun with that one moving forward. But you know what else is fun? Your summer road trip. And there's no time like the present to get back out on the roads. My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles, they're going to help you find that luxury vehicle that you've been eyeing. You've seen it on the roadway, and you think to yourself, you know what? I earned it. I'm going to go get it with a little help from my friends at Piazza. Thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles from beautiful brands like Mercedes-Benz, Land Rover, Jaguar, Maserati, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo. Gorgeous, powerful. PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. You can stop by one of their Pennsylvania, Delaware, or New Jersey dealers. PIAZZA, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
The remnants of Debbie continue to move through the Delaware Valley today, bringing some heavy showers at times with a possible tornado. It'll be humid with a high 84. Tonight, showers will come to an end overnight with a low near 70. And a much nicer day on Saturday, mixture of sun and clouds, less humid with a high 86.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world, protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, pet parents, the summer season is here, and that means it's time to get outside and enjoy some sunshine with your pet. Hi, I'm George Parenti, the lead dog at the Dogs and Cats Rule stores. The stores are loaded with great summer collections of outdoor and interactive toys. We carry the finest selection of fresh diets like gently cooked, raw, freeze-dried, air-dried, dehydrated, baked, and of course traditional kibble and cans. Dogs and Cats Rule with 7 neighborhood locations. Visit dogsandcatsrule.pet. That's Dogs and Cats Rule. Shop small, shop local, shop family.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
A tornado touches down in Newcastle County, Delaware, knocking down trees and damaging property. A back-to-school event in Delaware County offers kids free medical care along with school supplies. And the Eagles are scheduled to play their first preseason game of 2024 in Baltimore at 7:30.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Don't miss our end of summer savings spectacular at Hessert Chevrolet. Get amazing deals on top Chevy models like Silverado and Equinox EV. Now's the perfect time to upgrade. Drive home a 2024 Silverado 1500 LT at 1.9% APR or a 2024 Equinox EV at 0.9% APR. See dealer for details. These offers won't last. Visit Hessert Chevrolet today or check us out at HessertChevy.com. Call 267-343-9094 for full details.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows, and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
Free speech lives here. With Dom Giordano, weekdays noon till 3 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
In the home stretch, 29th hour, here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Hey, Dawn Stensland here. So do you want to air one more little tidbit of sound there, Henry? Machette?
Yeah, let's get to it. I got another Trump clip for you here.
Little treats.
And a lot of my people, a lot of the MAGA, as they call them, but the base, and I think the base is 75% of the country, far beyond the Republican Party. Because we're a party of common sense, and I'm a person of common sense. I want to have low taxes. I want to have strong borders. I want to have a strong military so that China and Russia, look, they've allowed China and Russia to do the impossible combined. They're natural enemies. They always have been, because China needs more land and Russia has it. They've always been natural enemies, and because of Obama, it started with him, and then Biden, because he didn't know what the hell he was doing, they've now become one force. And then now they're adding Iran to it, and they're adding North Korea to it. Pretty powerful force. This is something that is unthinkable that they allowed to happen. And a lot of my...
Yeah, so think about that. And he talks about the force. I think of May the Force be with you, Trump Force 47. And now listen to what others think about us. I don't know if you enjoy watching these different shows, like in Italy, Italian TV, Australian. They make fun of us. Make fun of Biden, Harris. It's awesome. But this is a comment. Take me through this, Henry, if you will. This commentator, this is an Australian, and how they view what's happening here in the United States of America with these fast-moving developments of Joe Biden just suddenly saying, nope, I'm not rerunning. Here's Kamala. She raised a ton of money. I mean, the whole thing, very fast-moving, being swept under the carpet, not even questioned anymore by the so-called mainstream media. So let's take you through this.
To make sure that Kamala, however you want to say it, didn't possibly ever get a run at the presidency, didn't even get a really good run as the vice president. They wanted to keep her at the back, hide her. She was embarrassing, is embarrassing. Obviously not the case.
No, and it's interesting that, so now a report has come out from Seymour Hersh, a journalist who essentially has reported on what I had speculated in an op-ed not too long ago, that this was essentially a coup on Biden. So we know now that Biden was allegedly presented with the ultimatum, right? Step down or face the 25th Amendment. And this was done by Obama, Schumer, and Pelosi. And of course, as Vice President, Harris would have been involved in those discussions of the 25th Amendment. So, a big question comes out of this is who's running this country right now? Of course, after the debate, which I believe was a setup, is that this guy is not competent. He's got Alzheimer's. He's got dementia. We need to get rid of him now, and we need to put someone else in. I don't think that they wanted to put Kamala in. And when I say they, I mean Obama. But apparently the word is from Seymour Hersh is that Joe's last sort of FU was, I'm only stepping down if I hand this to Kamala. A question that I think is not being asked enough is who the hell is running that country right now? The crazy thing is they had been talking about this for at least 2 years. The press had been, and more so they'd been going even harder after Kamala, basically saying she's not fit to be vice president. And this is the left-wing media, CNN, MSNBC, and then all the majors, ABC, CBS, etc. So they knew for a very long time that he was going to basically lose to Trump because we could see with our own eyes that this guy was an old man with declining health at the very least. And I don't know how much of this is planned and how much of it is chaos, but it's extraordinary now that they're expecting the public to believe in this reinvention of Kamala, right, as the next coming of Christ. She has a worse record than Joe Biden. In many ways, Biden, even now, is more competent than this woman. So I don't think it's going to work, but the media is really working overtime now.
Indeed.
To try and manufacture this new narrative.
But isn't that amazing how people, and you think about the international media in other countries who gets a look from the outside in, and they're looking at this chaos or planned chaos or whatever the heck it is, and this is what they see, which is reassuring in some ways. But then think of this. Our enemies see it as well. And so when Trump talks about, and that's very ominous, when Trump talks about, the soundbite where we just played that audio, when he talks about that, then you think about the fact that we have all these countries like China and Russia, right? And all these different countries, the Middle East, Iran. Our enemies see this. They see the chaos and they see the weakness within our administration and leadership. And what happens when an enemy sees weakness? They see an opening. And so that's terrifying, isn't it? And so that's why you do see Chris Wray over and over, Christopher Wray with the FBI, heading the FBI, talking about these imminent threats. That's why we do often see this. 855-839-1210. Let me take, is this Ann? Hey, Ann, happy Friday.
Hi, happy Friday to you. I just wanted to thank you for keeping first of all, that piece you just played was fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Second thing is, thank you for keeping those Butler police officers top of mind, the two local ones, because they so far outshine any other police force there. Should be reflected in their paycheck, their leadership, their heroism. And the other thing I wanted to comment on, too, was the unprofessional journalism you were describing in Trump's audience there. Mm-hmm. She reminds me of a kid egging houses at Halloween. And I know we had maybe in the back of your mind, don't do the jar. Don't put any money in the jar yet.
Yeah.
We used to have a phrase that said, "Who flung dung and run?" And that's what she sounds like. One of these kids is going to do that routine.
And I thank you so much.
At that house, and that's what she was doing to Trump, and it was so juvenile. So
Thank you so
very
much.
Annie.
Thanks, Ann. I'm up
Uh-huh.
against a tough break. I hope you have a blessed Friday. Stay safe today. We've got some major severe weather alerts. Appreciate you being here. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Talk Radio 1210's Huge Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr. is moving to Thursday, September 12th. Join Dom Giordano as he talks to Donald Trump Jr. about all things Trump. Just 2 days after the planned presidential debate. The new date, Thursday, September 12th at Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood. Your tickets include a copy of Letters to Trump by former President Trump. A cash bar will be available. Get your tickets now at 1210WPHT.com. That's 1210WPHT.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
For eligible individuals, 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Select's premium package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home, all done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better.
You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge.
Oh, you people are wonderful.
Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee.
I hear better than I ever thought possible.
Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhance.com/try. That's JABRA Enhance.com/try. JabraEnhance.com/try.
The economic future of this country is littered with uncertainty, but over 5,000 crash-proof retirement clients like Larry Kipp are protected by a tried-and-true system proven to protect their principal and outperform the S&P 500 even in the worst of market crashes.
In 2006, I had already retired. I knew that I couldn't lose principal, and so when the crash came, I knew my money was safe. And when the market starts to grow again, then I start gaining interest. I don't have to wait for it to grow back to where it was to gain that interest. I haven't incurred any fees doing this. I'm very satisfied with the service. I would say that there is a crash-proof retirement. I have proof of it.
Learn more about how the exclusive crash-proof retirement system protected Larry from market crashes at our next event at the William Penn Inn on Tuesday, September 17th. Call us at 1-800-722-9728 or visit crashproofretirement.com.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale & Company. The best place to bet the games this summer is FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Then you can bet on all your favorite international teams in all your favorite sports, from basketball to badminton. Don't forget those badminton fans. There's a ton of them out there. And soccer to swimming. FanDuel has it all. You can bet same-game parlays. There's all kinds of prop bets. It's all right there at FanDuel.com. So don't miss your chance to score $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg to sign up. FanDuel.com/Greg to start betting the games today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official partner of 1210 WPHT. 21 and over, President PA. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Tonight's 9:40 Phillies Diamondbacks game can be heard on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. The Phillies are on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT tonight.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by Advocacy United, this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, Clementon. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
Another story we're watching, and that is who's on the ballot. It's the ballot game, and this will lead me into, I think it's Dave's phone call about people who don't play by the rules. But Robert F. Kennedy Jr., his running mate, and at least 9 other third-party candidates are facing these challenges that may get them kicked right off of Pennsylvania's November 5th general election ballot. So this is a petition against Kennedy, who's obviously the independent candidate. And so they have filed this. It's a super PAC filed this. They were formed by allies of Biden to do these third-party challenges because clearly if Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is on the ballot, they believe that is crushing for the Democrats, not just at the top of the ticket, but down ticket as well. So we got to watch those court challenges very carefully. So that'll lead me to, is it Dave that had the big question? Hey, Dave.
Hey, good morning, Dawn. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
I'm calling. The thing that I'm concerned about is that I don't think the Republicans are aware that the left is they're going to run a non-traditional campaign. In other words, the right did everything the traditional way. They had a primary. They got their candidate. They want to do interviews. They want to do debates. The leftist hasn't done any of that, and they're not going to. I believe
is that
the
a
left
dangerous? Is that a danger to democracy?
Absolutely. And I think the left, they love misdirection, and they're going to keep baiting Trump into these debates and keep pushing them back. But while they're doing that, they're winning their campaign on social media. Now, think about it. In 2004, that was the advent of Facebook and YouTube and social media.
Yep.
These kids who were born in 2004 are now 20 years old. They're legal voting age. And that's all they know. And there's a lot of data to support that social media brainwashes these kids.
Mm-hmm.
So they know this.
Yeah.
So while they're postponing and delaying Trump's traditional way of campaigning, they're attacking on social media where we don't have anybody.
Yeah,
and
but
that's where they're going to try and win this.
But that's exactly why that's why it's important he was on with Aiden Ross, who has like, I don't know, a gazillion like 8 million, 9. I didn't know who the guy was. And so I see Trump apparently.
That's a start.
Yeah, I think Barron told him to go on. And of course, I asked my teenage sons, you guys know? And they're like, of course. So he started out gaming. They like him. It's authentic. It's a grassroots feel. But I think to your very point, that absolutely, I think the Trump campaign is onto this, and thank God he has a bunch of kids and grandkids because they're all telling him, you got to do this, you got to do that, and he listens to them because he went on with Ross, and it was a huge hit. So he needs he
needs to do more of that.
Yeah, you're right. It was a good start. Thank you for the call. I appreciate you, and I apologize to Bill. I'm very curious because Bill said I was missing a little something. Can we take Bill? I literally, because Dom Giordano, you don't want to keep Dom waiting. I have like 25 seconds, Bill. What are we missing?
Okay, how are you? Here's the main thing. The Democrats have this allegiance to their party. And I don't think if we can't get to them in all the major cities, and there's, 58 or 60 of them, and if the Republicans aren't doing it that way and going door to door, I don't see how we can possibly win by not getting to them, because that's the main theme here that I see and hear. And I talk to some of them and know them, and they don't want to hear about anything. They don't listen to your show, don't listen to any shows. They listen to sport channels. Some don't even vote at all. It's horrible. And the only way we're going to do it, is to do something, follow the game book of somebody else and make our own.
Yeah, well, I know that Linda Kearns is often listening, and she always says protectthevote.com, get out there. And that's why Trump Force 47, I've been a keynote speaker at least one of these events, but this is something that Trump has said, that he needs you. He needs a few good volunteers who will go out door to door, go to polling places, be the eyes and ears, and get involved. Thank you for being with me.
Are they doing that?
You know what?
I'm sorry. Are they actually doing
I apologize. It's 58. I got to go. Dom Giordano is standing by, and I never will keep Dom, the great Dom Giordano, waiting. Have a blessed Friday. Be safe in the severe weather. I'm Dawn Stensland. Dom Giordano is up next.
Cancer, a scary word, but not so scary if you have the right team. Hi, this is John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sundays at 8 and again